Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful neighborhood nestled among towering trees and winding streets, there was a legend that sent shivers down the spines of the residents. It was said that every night, when the moon hid its face behind a veil of darkness, a colossal skeleton known as Okuro would emerge from the depths of the underworld. Okuro was a terrifying creature. His elongated bones, similar to the withered branches of ancient trees, creaked and moaned as he roamed the deserted streets. The chilling echo of his teeth chattering and bones rattling with a gadi-gadi sound filled the air, causing the bravest souls to tremble and fear. Legend had it that Okuro's hunger was insatiable, and he thirsted for the taste of human flesh. If, by chance, he came across a poor soul wandering the streets in the stillness of the night, he would move with an eerie swiftness, his bony fingers gliding silently through the shadows. With patience akin to the creeping fog, Okuro would sneak up behind his unsuspecting victim, his empty eye sockets glowing with a malevolent aura. As the late person continued on their oblivious way, Okuro would strike without warning. In one swift motion, he would seize them, his thin fingers wrapping tightly around their flesh, leaving marks of terror on their trembling skin. The unfortunate souls who encountered Okuro would find themselves at his mercy. With each encounter, his methods varied. Sometimes, he would choose to bury his jagged teeth into their necks, instantly severing their heads from their bodies. Other times, he would revel in the sadistic pleasure of flattening his victim like a grotesque pancake, their once vibrant form crushed and distorted beyond recognition. However, the story of Okuro remained unfinished, as it continued to perpetuate fear and terror among the residents of the neighborhood. The mere mention of his name sent shivers down spines and warned all to be cautious during the dark hours, for nobody knew when and where Okuro would strike next. Terror gripped the neighborhood like a vice, suffocating all sense of tranquility. Whispers of Okuro's malevolence echoed through the chilling wind, causing curtains to be drawn tight and doors to be locked with extra caution. The once vibrant community was shrouded in an uneasy silence, punctuated only by the distant sound of bones rattling. One fateful night, as the moon delicately balanced on the edge of a dark cloud, a late traveler unknowingly wandered into the heart of the neighborhood, oblivious to the lurking danger that awaited. The streets appeared desolate, the familiar shapes of houses looming ominously in the moonlight. The traveler, a young woman named Arya, felt an inexplicable chill crawl up her spine. She quickened her pace, the rhythmic sound of her heartbeat pounding in her ears. She tried to shrug off the unease that clung to her like a second skin, but her steps faltered as a chilling gadi-gadi sound reached her ears. Arya turned around, her heart pounding in her chest, only to see an unsettling figure emerging from the dark alley. Okuro stood before her, his empty eye sockets piercing the fine line between existence and the realms of nightmares. His towering frame loomed over her, casting a shadow that seemed to swallow her whole. Frozen in terror, Arya tried to scream, but her voice betrayed her. Okuro moved with an unnatural swiftness, closing the distance between them in the blink of an eye. She could feel his icy breath against her face, carrying the scent of decay and ancient curses. As he extended his skeletal hand, it seemed to stretch impossibly towards her, ready to claim her as his next victim. Her mind raced, searching for an escape, but the streets had become nothing more than a labyrinth of fear. Time seemed to stand still as Okuro's fingers brushed against Arya's trembling flesh. The world faded away, leaving only the nightmarish presence of the monster that had haunted the neighborhood for generations. The neighborhood's fear deepened as news of Arya's disappearance spread like wildfire. Whispers traveled through the trepidation-laden air, heightened by tales of other encounters with the elusive Okuro. The streets became barren, save for the occasional soul daring enough to venture out under the moon's foreboding gaze. Days turned into nights, and nights bled into days. Yet Gassiot Okuro continued to prowl the neighborhood, his presence felt in every restless gust of wind that rustled through the trees. The community lived in a perpetual state of dread, their once vibrant lives drained by the looming menace that haunted their every thought. One evening, as a group of daring individuals gathered in the dilapidated town hall, desperate to devise a plan to rid their lives of Gassiot Okuro, a chilling realization swept through their huddled masses. This malevolent creature was not bound by physical limitations nor shackled to the veil of darkness. It possessed an indomitable will that seemed intertwined with the very fabric of their existence. Their whispered discussions swirled with fearsome theories and desperate ideas. Some believed that the answer lay in ancient talismans said to ward off malevolent spirits. Others suggested weaving intricate traps, hoping to ensnare the skeletal monstrosity before it could claim more victims. Each voice clamored for attention, their words echoing through the hall and dissipating into the abyss of uncertainty. Gassiot Okuro, meanwhile, continued his nocturnal reign of terror. His gadi-gadi sound became a haunting symphony in the dead of night, a reminder of the horrors that could befall anyone foolish enough to defy his dominion. The very essence of fear became tangible, seeping into the cracks and crevices of every home and gnawing at the frayed edges of their collective courage. As their options dwindled and hope flickered like a dying ember, the residents knew that a decision had to be made. They would face Gassiot Okuro head-on, plunging into the abyss of darkness to confront their greatest fear, their hearts thudded with a mixture of trepidation and determination. For they knew that only through unity and unwavering resolve could they hope to unravel the enigma that enveloped their once idyllic neighborhood. The moon hung low in the ink-black sky, casting a pale glow upon the once vibrant streets now steeped in darkness. A hushed silence fell over the neighborhood as the brave residents ventured out, their hearts thudding in their chests, each step echoing with trepidation. They moved along the desolate streets, their feet barely making a sound as they crept closer to the heart of fear itself. The air itself seemed to shimmer with anticipation, wrapping around them like a chilling embrace. Shadows danced playfully, twisting and contorting with disturbing glee. Every flickering streetlight became a mocking beacon, casting distorted shapes upon the walls that seemed to mimic the skeletal figure they sought to conquer. The scent of impending doom permeated their atmosphere, mingling with the scent of damp foliage and fear-soaked sweat. Whispers, both real and imagined, carried on the wind, their words cloaked in foreboding mystery. The residents pressed on, their resolve waning and strengthening in equal measure. As they neared the heart of the neighborhood, a sinister shape took form among the shadows. Gassiot Okuro materialized in all his grotesque glory, towering over them like a vengeful god. Bones grinded, teeth chattered, and the gadi-gadi sound intensified, permeating the stillness of the night. Their faces clenched with determination. The residents unleashed their collective might against the monstrous entity. Each swing, each strike, reverberated through the air, a resounding battle cry against the unyielding terror that had plagued their lives. Yet, Gassiot Okuro proved to be more relentless than their nightmares had forewarned. Every blow that landed upon his skeletal frame seemed to fade in significance, as if the bones themselves were shrouded in an unbreakable shield. A cold, soulless laughter echoed through the battleground, mocking their futile resistance. Bloodied and bruised, their strength wavered, their will chipped away by each failed attempt to subdue the creature that defied mortal limitations. Doomed to endlessly battle their deepest fears, the residents realized that they were mere pawns in Gassiot Okuro's wicked game. Darkness threatened to consume them whole, their bodies trembling with a mixture of fatigue and despair. but a sliver of hope lingered, flickering like a far-off star amidst the black sky. They knew, deep within their quivering hearts, that they had to dig deeper, to uncover the dormant strength buried within their battered souls. Armed with sheer determination and the white-hot fire of survival burning in their eyes, the residents faced their nemesis with reckless abandon. The final showdown awaited, a cataclysmic clash of bone and bravado. With each bone-shattering clash, hope flickered like a dying ember, threatened to be extinguished by an immense darkness that loomed. Anguish and determination mingled in the eyes of the residents as they fought tooth and nail, their movements fueled by a desperation that defied reason. Gassiad Okuro, undeterred by their valiant efforts, unleashed a slew of supernatural attacks. Shadows danced with malicious intent, tendrils of darkness darting towards the residents, threatening to ensnare them and drag them into the abyss. The ground trembled beneath their feet, threatening to swallow them whole, as though the very earth conspired against their defiance. Yet, through gritted teeth and pounding hearts, they fought on, their collective will igniting like a blazing pyre against the encroaching night. Their struggles sent ripple waves of defiance through the fragile fabric of reality, as if challenging the very existence of Gassiad Okuro itself. With a bone-chilling roar that reverberated through the neighborhood, Gassiad Okuro unveiled his ultimate weapon, an unholy power that shook the very foundation of their souls. Fear etched itself deeper into their beings, threatening to consume their last vestiges of courage. But in the darkest hour, a spark of hope ignited. From the depths of despair, a voice rose, soft yet resonant, a voice that spoke of resilience. A voice that emerged from the trembling lips of a child. It was a voice that carried the collective strength of the residents, channeling their unyielding spirit into a tangible force. The child stepped forward, eyes shimmering with an ethereal light that defied explanation. They raised their trembling hand, fingers outstretched, as if beckoning an otherworldly force to their side. The air crackled with anticipation, the atmospheres trembling with an unknown power, unyielding in its intent to defy the terrifying creature that plagued their lives. Gassiad Okuro faltered for a moment, uncertainty flickering in his empty sockets. Could it be that this child held the key to his undoing? With a bellow of rage, he lunged forward, an embodiment of relentless malice, fueled by centuries of terror instilled in human hearts. The child's light intensified, pulsating with a resounding strength that belied their tender age. A blinding radiance engulfed the battlefield, eclipsing Gassiad Okuro's monstrous form, as if unveiling a hidden truth that sought to pierce the veil of darkness. In the blinding brilliance of the child's radiance, an invisible battle raged between the intertwining forces of light and darkness. The very fabric of reality seemed to splinter and bend, caught within the tempestuous clash of supernatural powers. With each passing moment, Gassiad Okuro appeared to shrink in size, his bones rattling with a discordant melody of despair. The child's light pierced through the cracks of his unholy form, exposing the remnants of his malevolent essence to the realm of mortals. Whispers, carried by an unseen wind, resonated in the ears of the residents. Words of forgotten rituals and ancient incantations melded with the cries of torment, fueling the power of the light that radiated from the child's petite frame. It was a beacon of hope that refused to be extinguished, refusing to succumb to the miasma of darkness. As the air crackled with anticipation, Gassiad Okuro let out a blood-curdling shriek, his towering form broken apart by the sheer magnitude of the child's determination. Skeletal fragments shattered like porcelain, falling like shards of despair to the desolate ground below. The residents watched in awe, their hearts pounding, their breaths caught in their chests. The terror that had gripped their neighborhood was unraveling before their eyes, collapsing under the weight of the ethereal battle between innocence and malevolence. The neighborhood basked in the eerie calm that followed the battle, The devastation wrought by Gassiot Okuro lay scattered around them, a grim reminder of the horrors they had faced. But darkness had a way of lingering, of clawing its way back from the abyss. From the fragmented bones of Gassiot Okuro, a malevolent energy writhed, seeking to reform and reclaim its monstrous form. The air grew thick with an oppressive aura, foretelling the impending resurgence of an ancient evil. As the residents gathered their trembling resolve, they realized that their triumph was but a fleeting illusion. Their worst fears manifested as Gassiot Okuro slowly regenerated, piecing his macabre puzzle back together. The skeletal beast, far from vanquished, was now imbued with an even greater, more wrathful power. Desperation etched lines of resignation upon their faces as they prepared to face the creature once more. The neighborhood trembled under the weight of their collective dread, knowing that the ultimate battle lay ahead, a struggle that would determine their destinies. Their weapons were sharpened, talismans wielded with desperate hope, but they knew deep within that their actions were but a futile dance against the malevolent forces that possessed this relentless skeleton. Gassiot Okuro's teeth chattered in anticipation, mocking their futile defiance. A tempest brewed above the neighborhood, clouds twisted into tortured shapes, lightning crackling with foreboding energy. The very sky seemed to mourn their impending doom as they stepped forward to confront their monstrous nemesis. With a force that rattled their very souls, Gassiot Okuro launched his assault. The earth shook beneath their feet, swallowing the lesser of the residents one by one. Shadows morphed into haunting spectra, but in the aftermath of the destruction, a haunting calm settled over the weary souls. The child's light dimmed, its intensity waning. Darkness clawed at the edges, seeping back into the world, threatening to engulf their triumphant moment.